Hello everyone, Spitter back in with a Marvel Contest Chain video, and today I'm continuing my tier list saga because I'm gonna try to speed this up because I know the last two videos are very long. I'm gonna start doing a monthly tier list, but first I wanted to go over each of the classes individually and briefly discuss each champion because I want you to know why I believe each character belongs in each tier before I start doing the monthly things where you're just gonna see the characters in a tier, and I just want to make sure you have a frame of reference of what I think each character belongs in each tier. And yeah, we're just going to try to zoom past this, try to keep this under 20 minutes. And yeah, but before we get into the actual characters, of course, we have all these emojis that mean different things. The star means that the champion wants to be awakened. The arm means that they want a high sig. And also, of course, if they have the arm, I didn't give them the star because I'm pretty sure the arm is self-explanatory. If they need a high sig, obviously they want to be awakened. The little skull means they benefit from recoils, and when I say benefits from recoils, that either means they have immunities to bleed and poison, they reduce bleed and poison, so they get that willpower healing. They don't need a lot of special attacks, or they try to benefit from having bleed or poisons on them. The little Stonehenge guy, that means that they benefit from relic. Now, all champions benefit from relics, but I'm just, I want to note like the characters that really benefit from a specific relic. The shield means that they have defensive prowess, and if they have two shields, that means they're a really good defender. Some of the top defenders in the game. The heart means that they want synergies. The little sunglasses guy means they require a little bit of skill to play, or just some general knowledge of the character to play. Personal bias, or the little sweaty guy with the little smiley face, that's a little personal bias. I'm making this tier list. I just want to note sometimes I may have bias towards a character, and I just want to note that. So if you see that they're higher than you would have put them, it may just be because I'm a little biased, and I just wanted to note if I do think I'm biased, I just want to throw it out there because we all have a little bit of bias towards these champions. We all have different experiences, so like I said, just want to note if I believe I'm biased in some way toward a champion. And if I got the little hands together emoji, that just means I'm unsure of a champion and I need help in the comments. If they got the little thumbs up, I'm thinking about promoting them. If I give them a thumbs down, think about demoting them. And then you won't see any of these three in the video, because technically they all get the new entry because this is the first time I'm doing a tier list. But yeah, if they got the little blue arrow going up, they got promoted. If they have an arrow going down, it means they got demoted. And they have the both arrow, that means they're a new entry. And then yeah, just before we get into champions, let me just go over all the tiers real quick. Trash, I mean some of the worst champions in the game. I would not bother even putting a level into them. Mid, it's like a step up from trash. Still probably don't want to invest anything into them, but like they have some uses. Yeah, they just have some uses. Great, you got some pretty decent characters. A lot of average characters. Like they're not bad, but they're definitely what's it called? Like they could do what you need them to do, but nothing really much else. Now, amazing, it's like, yeah, this is when you get into the champions that are pretty darn good. They do some nice damage. They have some nice utility. They're a big step up from these champions. They can do what you need to do and much more. Or not much more, just much more. Much more is these guys. So yeah, these are just some of the very best champions in the game. If you pull these, you're probably having a really good day. Definitely consider taking any of these champions up to rank 3. Especially if they're 7 stars. Like these are some really solid options, can do a lot in the game, but they're not the best because the best are these champions. And with the Cosmic class specifically, I feel like in all of the classes you just have like the difference between like what I'd consider beyond god tier champions and then god tier champions is probably the widest of all the classes. Like I just feel like just Cosmic in particular, it's like your god tier, it's kind of easy to tell whether or not a champion's like god tier or beyond god tier because just the difference is huge. And these guys are just like the best champions in the game. And yeah, those are the tiers. So now I'm just going to briefly talk about all the characters again. I'm going to try to get this under 20 minutes and just briefly talk about the characters. So yeah, let's just run down Beyond God tier. I'm pretty sure, surprisingly, unlike the other videos, Beyond God tier probably going to be E, because I feel like these are all just no-brainers. Like, CGR, I mean, just look at any CGR gameplay. His rotation is pretty darn simple, pretty easy. He's very versatile with all of his stuff. He's got nice utility, but, I mean, when we're talking about CGR, you're probably talking about the damage. Like, as long as you can armor break the opponent, Cosmic Ghost Rider is just going to be able to delete them in like one special 2. It's honestly insane. Dark Phoenix. So Dark Phoenix probably is like one of the most recent characters added into the game. You can only get her from the Heart of Fire event if you spent money. Whether or not you got either the 6-star or the 7-star, you had to spend money. And yeah, most people are a little hesitant to put her in Beyond God tier. I see on some tier list, but like when you have a character that stirred up the meta this much, I feel like you have to put in Beyond God tier. And it's a little annoying that only the whales have this character, because she just completely I have to use one of my bans in Battlegrounds to just get rid of this champion. Like, she is just such a monster on defense. Like, she literally calls for like specific counters. So, you know, people are calling like bringing Diablo back, bringing Archangel, Iceman back. I think Nico Minora is going to be a really good Dark Phoenix counter. But like, yeah, she just doesn't have a lot of counters in the game, and she's so freaking annoying. Like, I feel like she has to be in Beyond God tier just because of how much she stirred up the meta. Hercules, I mean, he's a no-brainer. Hulkling, he's another really strong character as well. He's not a 7-star, he's only 6-star lock, but he is still just really good. He's actually too OP to be released as a 7-star. Kabam even said it themselves. And if you're too OP to be released as a 7-star, you're probably in Beyond God tier. Same thing with Cosmic Ghost Rider, which I forgot to mention, but he's still too OP to be released as a 7-star. And yeah, Deathless Thanos. Deathless Thanos, you get him straight out of the gate, boom, he's probably one of your best characters, if not the best character in the game. Or not in the game, but like definitely in this Cosmic class. Deathless Thanos is probably debatably the best Cosmic champion in the game. And like I said, you can just pull him straight, or I wouldn't even say pull him. It was like a year-long wait to get him, so he better be good, and he is good, and he's also a really, really good defender. Honestly, most of these Cosmic champions are really good defenders. Most of them got 2 shields, like, yeah, 2 shields on Dark Phoenix, 2 shields on Hulkling, 2 shields on Thanos, and of course 2 shields on Serpent. Probably still the most annoying champion to fight in the game right now. And yeah, you want him awakened at high sig, because then he gains that immortality. That just makes the fight go even longer. And this is a champion you want to get down as fast as possible, because the longer he's alive, the longer he will fuck you. And eventually, no matter how good you are, he probably will, because there's just so much BS in this kit, and he's actually a pretty good attacker as well. Alright, now going into the God tier. So starting off with Adam Warlock, we got a really nice character here. He has a lot of burst damage from utility, but I just don't think he is Beyond God tier worthy. Now, unlike Adam Warlock, we have Gallon, who I actually think could get into this tier in my next tier list, because with Gallon releasing as a 7-star, that just allows his harvest damage to do even more damage, because the only way to increase Gallon's harvest damage is with that next additional rank. And there's also Ascension, but yeah, Gallon has just been locked at 6-star rank 5 ascended for so long that he just needs that extra power level that I think can boost him to the Beyond God tier. And so yeah, I'm gonna probably look into what Gallons are, or actually we don't even know what Gallon. Oh no, we do, because some CCCP has got early access to him, and I just haven't looked at this video. So honestly, if I see some pretty nice damage compared to the rank 5 ascended, he's probably gonna go into this tier in my next video. But yeah, Gallon right now, he's sitting pretty good in God tier with that little promotion possibility. Alright, now, another champion who I think is really good and has my little personal bias next to it is Gamora. And she is really good with her own relic, of course. I just think Gamora is so simple to play. She does so much damage, can get so many buffs, super fast. She can do so much damage right out the gate with only a few combos. And yeah, her just rotation is just hitting the opponent, getting your Furies and your Cruelties, using that special 2, which you can also stack on armor breaks, and you just use your heavy attack to keep refreshing your buffs. And yeah, the opponent will probably just die in like a minute or 2, and even 30 seconds. And sometimes I'll run her Battleground. She takes down an opponent in 30 seconds. Like, if there's an opponent I need nuke down really fast because I know they're going to be really annoying, I usually just bring in Gamora. And she also has nice utility with the special 3, because once she uses special 3, she gains a True Strike, which just makes her able to bypass things like Miss, Auto Block, and Evade. Also, in her base kit, she can just ignore Miss if she gains enough buffs, which you get super fast. Like, I use her, she's my #1 counter against Shuri. Like, Shuri's really annoying, but I know if I have Gamora, Shuri is just goes down in no problem. Like, I think Gamora is a very underrated character, and yeah, just her ease of use, her damage and utility, I think definitely earns her a place in God tier. I don't think you could persuade me otherwise. Another character is Gladiator. He's really good, especially after his buff. When was he buffed? When did he release? He released the last year, and then he got buffed. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I think that's all I can say. I'm not the biggest Gladiator person ever. I just know he's really good, and also he's a little bit annoying to fight on defense. Same thing with Hyperion, though he also benefits from a relic really nicely, because he can increase the potency of his Furies and his power gain, which just make Hyperion even more annoying, and I just can't believe this guy is a 7-star. Another character is Null. He's probably one of the most unique cosmic characters in the game. He doesn't really have like buffs or anything, but he does have a lot of armor breaks. He does have a lot of damage. He reduces the bleed and poison, so he actually should have the recoils thing. I think he benefits from recoils really nicely. And yeah, Null is just a really good character who can stack on tons and tons of armor breaks. Maestro. Maestro is a really good defender. As you can see, he's got the 2 shields, but the only reason he's not in Beyond God tier is just because I don't think he has the attack potency that some of the other dual shield characters have. Like, even Dark Phoenix, who's mostly a defender, is also pretty good on attack, whereas I don't think Maestro is. Medusa. So Medusa has like the little heart because, you know, the Inhuman Royal Family synergy is pretty good, but I also don't think her buff was as good as some people do say. But, you know, if you think she belongs here, let me know. But I'm personally thinking about putting her in Amazing, which, you know, it's a demotion, but I think any champion who's in Amazing is also still pretty good. So let me know. Do you think Medusa is overrated? I kind of think so. But someone who's definitely not overrated is Superior Iron Man. Superior Iron Man is just crazy after his rework with like all his superior buffs. I just think he's really crazy now. Another champion who can dish out so much damage. Like, Superior Iron Man is just insane. Venom is also pretty insane. I also got my little bias emoji because I think I might be a little biased. Maybe he belongs in here. I think he belongs in here, and especially if he has his own relic and Awaken. Like, Venom is just a crazy monster with those bleeds. Another character I'm thinking about demoting is Vox. There's no really reason why I want to demote him, other than just like, I feel like compared to these guys, he's not. I just feel like he's like a step down from most of these guys. So that's why I'm personally want to put him down here. I really like Fox, but like I said, I just think these guys have an edge over him. Angela is pretty good, especially if you got her at high sig. She's a really nice recoils friendly champion, benefits from the Thor relic, and also benefits from the Odin synergy, especially if you're running like really longer quests. You could really ramp up her damage a lot, but, you know, she just lacks a lot of stuff from these guys, in my opinion. Beta Ray Bill is a fantastic champion. Honestly, if you're in something like Necropolis or whatever, he's definitely beyond God tier for sure. Outside of it, you know, he's pretty alright. Or not alright, he's better than alright, but I don't know. I just think outside of Necropolis, he's just pretty amazing. Corvus Glaive. The Corvus Glaive fall off is pretty crazy, but it's mostly just because, like, he was built at a time where the health pools weren't as insane. And so just as the health pools got higher and higher, Corvus Glaive just fell off more and more. But he's still a fantastic champion with an insane utility of not being able to die. His short burst damage is still, I think it's unchallenged. Like, he still probably has some of the highest burst damage in the game. Like, once you get into the realm of you can still kill champions with 20 charges, he's probably your best option. But outside of that, for longer quests, probably not seeing Corvus Glaive. I haven't seen Corvus Glaive in forever. Like, sometimes I forget this character was in the game, but, you know, he was like an old Beyond God tier champion, and now he's just amazing because the game has evolved. Cole Obsidian, so his brother. I just think that he should get a demotion. I know he got buffed a while back, and I think it fixed some of his issues, but I still think he's like a step down from a lot of these champions, so I'm actually probably going to make the demotion. Gore is another character I really, really like, and fortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I don't think he's God tier worthy. You know, I have a Gore. I love my Gore. He's sitting at rank 3. He does a lot. I love him, but unfortunately, I don't think he's God tier worthy. All right, Deathless King Groot. I think is a big step up from regular Groot. So I have regular King Groot here. So I've just put him in a tier above him. I don't think he's as amazing as like someone like Deathless She-Hulk or Deathless Thanos. He's definitely a step below that, but he's a step up from King Groot. So you know, it just made sense to put him in amazing. Odin is also an amazing champion, especially with his pre-fights, being able to boost everybody. But on his own, he can deal a ton of damage. You know, get your buffs up. You know, he has a ton of buffs. Can deal a ton of damage as well with that special too. Like, Odin is just awesome, especially with the Thor relic, which is nice. You know, Thor is his son. I like that. Phoenix is really good after her buff. Haven't really had a lot of experience with her, but from the little experience I do have, I can safely say that she's amazing. Cersei's pretty good champion. I will say the only reason she's in amazing and not like great is because she is really, really annoying on defense. Like, I still can't stand this character. Yeah, I might just not have a lot of counters, but God, she's so annoying. Silver Surfer, he's a little guilty pleasure champion. I love Silver Surfer. I know not everyone loves Silver Surfer, but I just really like his playstyle. I think he has nice utility. He has nice consistent damage. Yeah, I just really like Silver Surfer. He has those niche moments for me, and that's why I put him here instead of here. And Thor OG is still a monster, but he's not as big as a monster as he once was. Again, similar to Corvus, the game has just evolved so much. Like, he could still output mountains of damage. He just doesn't have any utility, and yeah, the game has just evolved. All right, now the Cosmic class has a lot of just like average champions. Like, they're not bad by any means, they're just kind of average. Nihilus is one of them. He's a nice defender, has some armor breaks. He's decent. Captain Marvel movie, I think, fell off a bit. She wants that Nick Fury synergy, which is a pretty good champion. So, you know, there's no reason to not run Nick Fury with her, especially since he just got released as a 7-star. Carnage has really, really, really good damage if the opponent can bleed. Nothing much else, but I just also really like Carnage. I think he's a fun character. Probably put like the little bias emoji, but I think most people consider Carnage at least a great champion, so I'm not going to give him personal bias, even though I'm a little biased. Hela is really good. She's got so much damage with that Odin synergy. Outside of that, however, she doesn't really have anything, but she's really only here because of the Odin synergy. Icarus, I'm actually thinking about demoting. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, Icarus is just not that great. He's a little impractical at times, and why play Icarus instead of like any of these other characters? Even in his own tier, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather play someone like Carnage or King Groot or Scream or Terrax over Icarus. So I might make that. I'm probably gonna make that demotion. We already covered King Groot. I just think he's a step down from regular or from Deathless King Groot. So you know, he's a step below him. Prophecy Midnight's a really good champion. She could deal out so much damage, but there's really nowhere in the game to use her, and that kind of sucks. And it's always been like that since her release, which also kind of sucks. But I can't deny that she could still output like so much damage. Like back in her time, it was crazy, and still in this time, her damage output is crazy. But like, there's always damage caps and stuff like that, and yeah, she's just not practical in Battleground, stuff like that. I think if there's ever a time where there's not damage caps and like Necropolis-esque content, Prophecy Midnight's probably going to be one of the best options. Alright, Red Goblin. Red Goblin is a pretty decent champion. He's like an average character. Does a lot of damage with your Bloodlust. He's just got some nice utility there with some Incinerate immunity as well. Ronan is really just here for his cheese. Scream. I remember Scream came out a while ago, and I was just so fixated on Jack-O-Lantern that month, and I just don't know anything about Scream. So if you know anything about Scream, please let me know. But from what I remember, she was just like kind of a decent champion. Yeah, that's about it for Scream. Terax, pretty good defender, wants to be Awakened. Champion also is a nice defender. Venompool, I mean, Venompool is really just a worse Venom. I know he's a fantastic champion, but like he's just a worse Venom. Arceus is another average champion who has some nice defensive prowess with that Paragon. Black Bolt, the only reason he's not in trash is because he is pretty good with, I think it's the Hitmonkey synergy and the Inhuman Royal Family synergies. Probably not going to be building a whole team around Black Bolt, but I still want to note that with all that, he can be a step up from, trash. Kamala Khan, I would think, is a step up from trash because, she at least has decent damage, has some immunity, has poison immunity. She's not the worst, like some people say. Same thing with Nova. I mean, he sucks on attack, but he's got some defensive prowess, which is still nice. Same thing with Super Skrull's got some defensive prowess, which he's still annoying to me. He's a pretty annoying defender. I hate fighting Super Skrull. And same thing with Thanos. The only reason Thanos is actually not in trash is because I remember seeing one Legacy video where he talked about Thanos actually being a pretty good defender. So yeah, I'm gonna take Legacy's word for it. So Thanos is also, I mean, it's Thanos. He's a trophy champion. He is a trophy champion. You're probably not gonna be ranking up any of these mid guys. Honestly, you could probably even make the argument that mid and trash are kind of the same tier. So it doesn't really matter if Thanos is mid or trash, in my opinion. So I just threw him in mid. I think he's better than these guys. Venom the Duck. Another champion that I think is a little overhated. Still sucks though, but Venom Duck still can do stuff that these champions can't do. So he's got he can get nice power gains, generations, damage with the fear. If you build him right, he can be a fantastic champion. Airwalker, yeah, Airwalker sucks. Again, all he's got is defensive prowess and nothing much else. Airwalker sucks. Captain Marvel OG does nothing. Same thing with Drax, does nothing. Groot's probably one of the worst characters in the game, overall, not even just in his class. He is the unstoppable Colossus of his class. Heimdall, has anyone ever used Heimdall outside of synergies? Be real. Have you have not used Heimdall outside of gang synergies? He sucks. Ms. Marvel OG is literally just a carbon copy of Captain Marvel OG. So if she's trash, obviously Ms. Marvel is trash. And Symbiote Spider-Man, I actually thought Symbiote Spider-Man was a decent champion, and then I was pulling him on a PC alt account, and I was like, oh, this actually might be pretty nice, and I have the Red Goblin synergy. And yeah, honestly, the Red Goblin synergy didn't really feel like anything. And yeah, I might be a little biased towards Symbiote Spider-Man, but in a bad way. But yeah, I just think Symbiote Spider-Man is trash. But yeah, that's this little cosmic tier list video until we get into the main tier list monthly tier list thingies. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Is there any champion you would promote, you would demote? Is there any thoughts you have on rankings or whatever? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll make sure to look into them and yeah, address that in the next tier list and in the comments and stuff like that. But yeah, tech is next, and goodbye.